Dr. Pratt will light.
At this time, I'd like to call the November 2024 regular meeting of the Harrison School District Board of Education to order. With all the people here, I just want to make sure there wasn't any door prizes. I'm not sure why everybody showed up, but it will be limited on that. So, at this time, I'd like to start with a prayer. Father, I want to thank you so much for bringing us again together. What a beautiful day each day you give us. We'd ask you for guidance and wisdom as we make the decisions on behalf of our community and our district. We'd ask for a special prayer for the family of Mr. John Sherman, a former board member whose daughter is currently in surgery, and it looks as though you graced your hand upon her. We'd like to ask you for a special counsel for those individuals that suffer throughout our community for whatever reason, and for our students that are exposed to some of that. We ask you during this very special time, we thank you for our veterans, and thank you for the Thanksgiving and the special holiday season we're about to go into. We ask these things in your name. Amen. Our pledge.
Yes, Bannon and each come forward. Tonight we're lucky to have, or blessed to have, our Harrison bands and a representative of that group together. And these are our drum majors for the band. And they've done an outstanding job this year along with their teammates. And Bannon and Jim, would you guys lead us off in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Correspondence and recognition.
Yes, we have a very special night tonight. I'm going to ask Ms. Amber Lights to join me. We have Special Olympics bowling, and it was so exciting, and I'm not going to take away Amber's thunder about the event. So, Ms. Lights, we have certificates, so if you'll help me out, that'd be great.
Okay, so if you were here and played on the Special Olympics bowling team, if you want to come on up with me. So we had 33 athletes compete this year, and out of the 33 athletes, we have 13 students who received gold in their division and are going to go on to compete in the state tournament bowling. So 42% of our team made it and qualified to the state tournament and are participating. And these are just a few of our gold athletes that are going to go on to compete in the state bowling competition. So we just want to recognize them tonight and their great performance. So we have, yes. So we have Raven Pimental, Randall Grady, and Raven is in 8th grade? 7th grade. I should have asked you, Raven. Randall is a senior this year. 12. Yes, 12th grade. Dalton Nance, 10th grade. Miss Kira is a senior also, and Miss Emery Keys, who is also a senior. So a great group of athletes. We will compete on December 4th in Little Rock. Yes. Randall Grady.
There you are, Randall. All right.
And Emery Keys.
Emery.
You want to? Awesome.
Everybody here, come together real close. Let's take a good picture. Everybody give them a round of applause for this. Ms. Lights, we look forward to hearing their next performance, how well they did.
Yes. Our overall competition will be basketball, our next one in February. So.
Okay. All right. Goblin Band, come on up here at the very front, everybody. All right. A lot of pressure, man.
Thank you. Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you, Bradley. If you can play a drum upside down, you can move down a little bit. Catch it. All right. Hey, tonight we just want to say, give it a little bit of time and recognition. We don't have everybody here, but we have a good representation of the band and the outstanding work that you guys have done this year, representing this district very, very well. And I'm not going to take away, again, more thunder, but if Mr. Bradford would lead us, just talk about a few of the accomplishments and how we closed out this marching season. That'd be great. Josh, can you do that?
Sure. So we actually changed quite a few things this year, which for this, these are our section leaders, most of them. We got a few that were not able to be here tonight. This is the section leaders and drum majors, so our leadership team for this marching season. And we started off the year with a lot of change. Mr. Crum, Mr. Skelly, and I, we got to go to Texas Bandmasters Association in San Antonio and came back and said, hey, we're going to change a bunch of stuff because bands in Texas know what they're doing, and we like a lot of the things they're doing. We didn't take all of it, but so some of these students had done the same thing with us for 2 or 3 years, and then we pulled it out from under them and said, we're going to change things, and they went right along with it. They saw the benefit. They helped implement that, and then leading by example throughout the season is a large reason why this marching season was such a success. And so I'm not going to talk anymore. We've got a few students that are going to talk a little bit about each of the contests that we went to.
My name is Allison Hyatt. I'm a senior, and I'm going to talk about the first competition we had this season. The first competition that we had this season was at Cabot Marching Invitational, September 21st. At this point, we had been working on our show for about 2.5 months, some of us 3 months, and we were all very nervous to go to our first competition. It's something we had been working forward to for so long, and it was just something exciting to do as a group. We performed one half of our show this competition. We competed with against a total of 31 different bands. We placed third place in our division, third place overall, and we achieved first division in percussion, first division color guard, first division band, and then we had the best music in Class C, best visual in Class C, and best band in Class C, making us the Class C champions.
I'm Andy Parrish. I'm also a senior, and I'm doing the second competition that we went to. So we traveled in the faraway land of Branson, for the Branson Marching Invitational, October 12th. And there was a total of 16 bands from Arkansas and Missouri, and they were of various sizes. At that competition, we didn't perform full show about 3/4, and in preliminary, we placed third in our class of 3A and 7th place in open class finals.
I'm Molly Brockman. I'm also a senior, and I'm talking about our third competition, which was in Reed Spring. It was the Ozark Mountain Marching Festival on October 19th. By that point, we had managed to put together our whole show, and we first performed in prelims, where we got best in class music. We were in Class C. Best in class music, best in class visuals, best in class percussion, and then we also got second best in class for color guard, and were made Class C champions for. And then we moved on to finals afterwards, and we got, in our white division, we got third place, and overall, we also got third place. So there was a total of 19 bands, ranging from Arkansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Missouri.
Hello guys, my name is LaShayla Engel, and I'm a junior, and I'm going to talk about our Region 6 marching assessment, which is all of the bands that are participating in Region 6. This was October 22nd, and we went down to Rogers, and we competed, and this competition is what gets us to state. So if we get a composite score of all ones, so first division ratings, then we get to go on to state and compete there and show them what we got. And we happened to get all first division ratings, and you know, that was the best rating breakdown that we've had in the last 5 years.
Hi everyone, my name is John Bray. I am the president of the band, the senior representative, and 1 week ago from today we participated at the state marching competition. This competition ranges from 2A bands to all the way up to 7A bands. There was 92 bands in total competing, and we got to perform the entirety of the show. The score that we got for the show, it was 87.5, which was a record-breaking score. And for our ranking, we placed 6 overall for the 5A competition. In the 5A competition, there were 23 other bands competing, so we got 6 out of 23. For the overall competition, back on the what I previously said, that ranking for the 5A competition, that was 3 positions higher than last year, and for our score, that was 5 points higher than the year before that. For the overall competition, we scored, this isn't an official ranking, but we scored 19th out of 92 bands in total. And again, this ranges from 2A bands all the way up to like 7A bands, and so there was a lot of competition, and I think this was very remarkable and very impressive for us to do.
One more thing I'm going to add, not only do we have outstanding young high school students that performed well We have Jess Crum, we have Connor Skelly, we have Josh Bradford as our leaders of our band. And I know what they're going to say next. Our band is very successful based on your hard work, their leadership, but also to a big group of parents that have followed the band, have fed the band enormous amounts of food. You guys can really eat, that's what I hear. So you've had a great parental following and support mechanism. We just want to say thank you, and our board wants to say thank you for an outstanding performance year. And we look forward to those of you returning. If you're a senior, thank you. If you're not a senior, we expect you to continue to work hard. Look forward to next year and another outstanding season. So thank you very much.
Well, that's it. We're off to a band booster meeting.
Our next recognition tonight is one of our board members. Each year we travel to Region 2 ASBA Board Members Association meeting, a local meeting. And this year Kelly McLaughlin was recognized for her boardsmanship, outstanding board member, due to her training and hours that she's acquired in her training. So she receives a pin, and so Kelly, we just want to say thank you and congratulations. All right, our last one, I'm going to ask Mark Edmondson, Anthony Kent, and Louis Valines to come forward, if you would, just right up here in front. So I'm not going to say much because I want Mr. Edmondson to lead primarily, but we had an incident at Forest Heights, and there was some outstanding, remarkable performance amongst our staff. So Mark, talk to us a little bit about the incident and how our staff responded, and if you would, to the crowd. Thank you.
Well, I don't know if I need to go into much details of the incident, but I would like to talk about a lot of our staff members, including Officer Kent, and how he responded immediately and got a hold of me, and how he secured the area and removed our students from the playground, probably in less than 2 minutes, and had it cleared. But that day we just saw a lot of people stepping up, including some very young teachers that were in charge of our after-school program, who did amazing, and how they stayed calm and kept procedures in place. We saw counselors that next day from all over the district show up at Forest Heights and talk to many students. And I can't talk highly enough about Forest Heights counselor Chris Black and how she went into every classroom and talked to students, and how she talked to students all day long that next day, and how they're still talking to students. Dr. Blines was there and supported everything that was taking place. It was just, I mean, it's such a horrible incident. It's just great to see everybody come together and step up immediately, and it was just good to see. We have some amazing staff members.
Officer Kent, you want to speak?
Sure. I get to say I'm an outsider looking in, but y'all don't make me get to enjoy being an outsider very often when you make it feel like you're just definitely part of that family anyhow. I said that corny line to say this. We don't ever want an incident like this to happen. We train for it. We pray it never does. But what I saw in my role as a resource officer, our number one goal is to make sure our kids and our campus and our teachers are safe. And from there, we deal with the chaos on the back end. And without going into detail, to say that we were able to secure a scary thing and have total accountability of the fairly large number of kids in the after-school program in their classrooms within a matter of just under 4 minutes from the time we were even notified of it. And the teachers taking care of the kids before they took care of themselves. And not just that, but following up just the aftermath and how it was handled and how we made sure all our bases were covered, and constructive criticism and debriefs and things that we're still working on, making sure the teachers and staff on the way. And I appreciate, being part of the district and make sure you take care of your people. And I was able to do my job, kids were safe, and we kept the public informed the best we could, so appreciate you guys.
Dr. Lyons?
So I made some notes, and I'm sure I'll miss some people, but Officer Kent and Mr. Dickinson, their leadership on scene, the rapid decision-making, and the commitment, Mr. Dickinson, to talk to every single family and every parent that picked up students was amazing. Our teachers, Ms. Lane, Ms. Fansler, Ms. Evans, and Ms. Jones, as they worked to keep students calm and get students where they needed to be as we're dealing with the situation. Our HHS students that were there as helpers, there were 3 of those young ladies. They did amazing to assist as well. Principals responded immediately on the phone call, very willingly volunteered. Their counselors, all the counselors that came, the counselors that just some of them that came and stayed, Ms. Thompson from the high school, Ms. Duff from kindergarten, Ms. Brothers from middle school. Every single counselor was ready to assist. Our school-based mental health, Ms. Likes and her team did an amazing job. As people found out and as information was disseminated, the leadership that every single person in this district showed and stepped up to the plate to help, to volunteer their services, to volunteer their time, that above and beyond any district that I've ever been part of, and it was truly amazing to see. Dr. Pratt and the conversations that we had, the conversations that Ms. Gilly and I had as we're preparing a statement to send out, Mr. Magnus, our board president, the conversations that we had, the questions that came, did you think of this? Did you think of different things? The next day, Ms. Rawson and Mr. Dickinson were there bright and early with the game plan. The teachers came in. Ms. Black has already been mentioned. She did an amazing job. The kids are very familiar with her. It was just normal. We made the decision pretty early on to keep things as normal as possible with people as much as we could that they knew. Very proud of just the responsiveness of each individual. Again, all the school counselors, Dr. Stacy Moore, our school psychologist, did an amazing job supporting students and staff, and is still supporting students and staff. Again, our school-based mental health, that entire team, Jana Mize was on site, and she and Ms. Black were a very strong team, and very, very proud. And I know I'm missing a few there in the school-based mental health department. They all stepped up and rallied and provided resources and handouts and things that we even learned today in our debrief. Mr. White and his responsiveness and his team to address needs of the physical property and just every single person responding. And I'm sure I forgot some people, but thank you to each and every one of you. It is a great day to be a Goblin because of you. The saying at Forest is never a bad day at Forest. And truly, even in one of the darkest days, it was not a bad day. It turned into a beautiful display of human, helping others. And so thank you for your leadership, Mr. Dickinson, and your team, Ms. Rawson, Officer Kent, thank you. A lot of decisions had to be made very quickly. Incredibly proud of each one of us.
Yeah, I'm bored. I just wanted to bring them forward. And the thing that I wanted you to hear from them is just not only are we appreciative of their actions, but the most valuable thing we have in this world is trust. And we trust our leadership of our district. They make good decisions, either in our presence or in our absence. Either one, we know that our students are safe and taken care of. And this was an example of just that. Whether you're here or part of it or not, our team stepped up and our students were safe, and our staff has been taken care of, and they continue to take care of students and staff. Really proud of you, so thank you very much.
I forgot one very important person. Ms. Wilson volunteered and had the forethought because of the testing schedule, things that we weren't even thinking of. Again, people that knew those things, they stepped up and they made decisions that were in the best interest of students. Some schools were able to get testing done. That was not the main concern. The main concern was that the safety and well-being of our students and staff. But Ms. Wilson volunteered that information, something that we knew was happening, but it wasn't on the top 10 list of things that we were processing at the time, but it was certainly a very important thing for school, and it worked seamlessly. It was very, very smooth, so thank you again.
Thank you.
I'd like to add a couple of things that they didn't say. When Dr. Pratt initially contacted me, my response was naturally in shock. I will tell you, I immediately told him, you just do what you need to do and the team need to do, and get back to us when you can. So when Dr. Valines called me, I peppered him with no less than 25 to 30 questions. He had an answer for every one of them, and it proved to me how prepared that we can be in a situation we should not be prepared for. There's not a single decision that was made that was not perfect. And I'm not talking about, for the most part, it was literally perfect what this staff did. And as an example, Officer Kent interviewed one of the children, and they said something about, what they saw, and they said, we're always going to think about that tree. He called Eric White, and the tree was gone in an hour. So the takeaway from me is, first of all, we have the best staff and the very best school resource officers in the state, bar none. The next thing is all of us go through school, we have a shared memory. And for the most part, those shared memories are positive. It's a state championship or a band trip or whatever. And every once in a while, it's a tragedy. And I remember being at Forest Heights in the first room on the left in the main building when the tornado hit. And my teacher getting us all down under the desk. That's a shared memory I still have with Jimmy May and my classmates. So those things, when they occur, what our staff did during that time helps them get through that. And it will be something those children remember their entire life, and it's been mitigated by the best teachers and staff in Arkansas. Okay.
That concludes correspondence and recognition, Mr. Martin. I would ask that we look at amending the agenda tonight if we could.
Make a motion, I need a motion to move item 7C to the top of new business. Second. I have a motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. Burnside. All those say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Motion carries. We'll move on to disposition of the minutes. I'd entertain a motion for approval of the minutes. I have a motion by Mr. Martin. Is there a second? I have a second by Ms. Keelan. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, the same. Motion carries. Next is disposition of routine minutes. Would like a motion to approve those. Ms. Bolt has made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by our award-winning board member, Ms. McLaughlin. Any discussion?
Enrollment stays steady at 2754.
Anything else? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, the same. Motion carries. We'll move on to 7A, or actually 7C, consider Goblin Drive right of way. And I think we have Mr. Wade Phillips here tonight to give us a presentation.
Yes. Adam, if you could put up Mr. Phillips' picture, that would be great. Tonight, we're going to talk about the right-of-way on the new Goblin Drive construction that the City of Harrison is doing. In 2017, the City of Harrison communicated with Harrison Schools that the plan to improve Goblin Drive has been in the works from Industrial Park Road to Capps Road. After much work and planning, the city began the first phase of the project in 2022 by beginning construction at the intersection of Goblin Drive and Industrial Park Road, widening that intersection. They continued to work widening the road southward and constructing a new bridge across Dry Jordan Creek. And upon crossing Dry Jordan Creek, a little bit of distance southward, and then stopped construction. Tonight, City of Harrison COO and Engineer Wade Phillips joins us. And Wade, thanks for being here. Joins Harrison Administration to clarify the project, answer questions from the board, and the purpose of propose the next steps for the completion of Goblin Drive. as proposed. The City of Harrison has approached this school district along with other property owners for property of right-of-way for the new road. In your packet, board members, you'll notice that the square footage and the prices being offered for the property is listed. To provide a fair valuation of the property, the city did not take that on themselves. They hired an outside group named Reed and Associates. Reed and Associates looked at all the property, made a property of estimates both on the left and the right side of the road, and then provided those estimates to the city. And Mr. Phillips, Wade, thanks for tonight. Wade is a Goblin graduate, one of our own, working, does a great job at the city. So Wade, if you just lead our board a little bit through the property and on the slide and answer any questions they may have. Thanks for being here.
I appreciate you all giving me the opportunity to come speak with you and kind of go with the project. Pretty obvious, just looking at the pictures. Project does include 3 roundabouts. I'll go ahead and throw that one out there. I think everybody has known that's coming. It's been on various media platforms.
Mr. Phillips, how fast can a teenager get around the roundabout safely?
Well, it depends on whether they go straight or actually around. But yeah, so we looked at several options as we were looking at how we're going to improve the road, deal with those peak times, the morning, the rest of the day, everything works out pretty good, and we still have safety drainage issues, things like that that have to be addressed. So as we did some various, actually, the original study we did looking at this was back in 2011. When I first got on, started looking at long-term planning, what we would do with that road. Really, when the planning got a little bit more serious was when grades 7 through 9 moved out to that road. That's when things changed a lot. We got into some pretty detailed traffic studies. We looked at simple widening, adding lanes, acceleration, deceleration lanes at drives, traffic signals, as well as roundabouts. In all scenarios, the roundabouts were the best option, the most functional, the safest for both drivers and pedestrians, and we are trying to get this area much more pedestrian friendly with it being, we've got, 2/3 of our students out there. And while I know we're a car-dependent community, I still see a lot of kids walking. I see kids walking Goblin right now in the morning trying to get to school. So the more we can get that pedestrian-friendly environment around our schools and branching out from our schools is going to be a lot of benefit. So if you go through in the mornings and you know where the resource officers stand to direct traffic, that's exactly where we're putting the roundabouts. The entire goal is for the internal traffic patterns within the high school and the middle school will stay the same. You guys put a lot of work into that. It seems to work really well internally. So if we were trying to lay out these roadway improvements, we wanted to not change that, but more complement that, and really also a situation where we didn't have to have police officers standing out there every morning and every evening. So between the roundabouts, we do have medians planned. So there will be a median there. I'm going to say if you're looking at the drawing, that the left roundabout, which will be the southernmost in the middle, we are going to be adding some two-way turn lane in there to as part of our negotiations with the property owners on the other side of the road. Trying to help make sure that they have good access in and out for their businesses. So that's another negotiation that's ongoing. So there will be some changes in there, but as far as what we have proposed on the school side, everything will pretty well stay the same as it's shown right now. A couple other things I'll point out on the school side, we do have a 10-foot trail that will eventually tie into the Creekside Trail that we hope to get going pretty soon, assuming we can get through archaeological investigations, which is our current step that I'm trying to get done. So that'll be part of a larger trail network, but while we're doing this work now, it's the time to get it done. And as you can see on the phase 1 where we did it to the north, you'll see that wider sidewalk on the school side. As far as overall impact to the school property, we are taking some parking spots in order to do this. We've got 26 total parking spaces that would be impacted, that would be gone. Other than that, we do need to a few signs down at Burl's Way will need to be relocated, but none of the major signs as far as the school signs and anything like that. And I don't want to take up too much time. I know you guys have a full agenda. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have on the specifics as you look through this.
Is that a trail, a paved trail?
It'll be concrete.
We've also, the district Mark has committed to $35,000 of expense to share with the city. And I assume that's not 50-50, we're getting a bargain out of this.
Yeah, the measurement and calculations for the sidewalk when that was committed to, that's a pretty good deal now in the current climate.
Yeah, that's Warren Buffett kind of decision, wasn't it? So, we're losing 2 parking spots, as pointed out. In addition, can you tell us how much actual land that we give up?
Yeah, so as far as
On an average? Just rough guess.
About an acre and a half.
Okay.
Well, a little bit less than that, and that's a combination of actual warranty deed, which would be street right of way and easement. We do have 10,600 temporary construction easement that would actually, all that would go back to the district once we're done with work.
Can you speak to that just a little bit, Wade, of that easement and how that's to keep traffic flowing?
Yeah, a lot of that is we're going to have to build this in 3 different little mini phases, in order to accommodate school traffic. I mean, I wish we could do the entire project during the summer. That's just not going to be feasible. So a lot of the temporary easement is to allow us to build, temporary access roads around while we're doing the roundabouts, and we're doing different parts of the project. And the TCE is also, some areas where we're just grading out as we get in the road built. But, primarily we have to focus on, keeping traffic completely accessible as much as we can. There'll be times when we are shut down between the prairie, and we'll have to go back to that traffic pattern that we did when we were doing the tile over the bridge on phase 1. The bulk of the work right in front of the high school in that area, that will be scheduled to happen when school is out of session. Our contract's going to have some pretty steep liquidated damages for the contractor, especially on that particular phase, in order to make sure that happens. The other, the south roundabout and that north roundabout, we've got ways to do what we call shoe flies or access roads around it to make sure we keep traffic going. It's just that middle part, we've got quite a bit of grade change to make it work. So there will be during the summer that, Goblin Drive right in front of the high school and the middle school will be closed, and we'll have to maintain access to the high school from the south, and access to the middle school will come from the north and also through Burl's Way.
The size of the roundabouts are a little bit larger to accommodate buses, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And I know that some of the bus drivers had expressed that.
They are oversized single lane roundabouts. Typically, you can build all enough where the larger vehicles have to depend on that interior truck apron is what we call it. There'll be some vehicles that may use that. The intent here was to design those large enough to where the buses aren't having to use that on a routine basis, since they will drive it every day. You don't want that little bit of a rock motion when they're going up on that mounted apron with the kids in there.
Any questions for Mr. Phillips from the board?
Well, the trail that heads towards Caps Road connect with that the new sidewalk and everything that's down there?
In this phase, it will not.
Okay.
We may go ahead and kick off some of the sidewalk to get that connected before we get into doing the final phase of Goblin Drive, just to get that done. Phase 3 has been, I've had to pull it out just because of the increases in construction costs and some other challenges that we need to address down there before we really dive off into that. The grades of Goblin Drive approaching Caps and that being a state highway, there's going to be some pretty extreme costs with the way we want to do it, so we're having to reevaluate that.
And Wade, the road's designed to only go one direction, right? You can only turn right, correct?
Correct, in areas where we have the median, unless there's going to be a median break. Now, we are going to have some two-way turn lane between the southern and middle roundabout there for those businesses. That's been a pretty contentious negotiating point as I've been working with them.
So in that middle section, there will be a turn lane?
Yes. So between, as you're looking at, between the left and the middle roundabout, we will have some two-way turn lane there.
Any other questions for Mr. Phillips?
I wonder whether driver's ed will have drifting training.
Let's hope not.
Probably not.
You need Michael? I can get him out here.
Okay, administration recommends allowing the superintendent to represent Harrison School District and enter into an agreement with the city of Harrison to sell proposed properties as outlined for a total sum of $229,050 for the improvements on Goblin Drive.
Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I have a motion. Keelan, is there a second?
A second.
Mr. Burris has made the second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Mr.
Wade,
Phillips.
appreciate it.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item, which is, here's the 7A, here's the transportation inspection report.
Yes, tonight we're very fortunate to have some of our transportation leaders and joining Mr. White. So Eric, I'm going to let you just take off and talk a little bit about our bus inspections and our transportation report.
Okay, thank you very much. Just so everybody knows, this is obviously my third year, so it's my third year with bus inspections, and it's our third different inspector. So as you can imagine, that responsibility has been done in 3 different ways. So that's just, each one has a way that they like to do things, certain things that they like to say need to be repaired, and the way they approach it. I really enjoyed our inspector this year. He was a really good guy. He had nothing but praise to say for our bus garage, the facilities, how it's maintained, and how well that these 4 gentlemen take care of our buses. So I've got Larry Biggs, stand up, Elton Bynum, David Tanksley, and Keith Booth. These 4 gentlemen work tirelessly every day. And I use the word tirelessly a little loose, but it's, but they do work hard to keep these buses on the road, to keep them in great condition, to keep those children safe to and from school and home. And I appreciate everything that they do. I get to work with them every day, and it's a blessing for me. I've been in education 31 years, and I've been down in a lot of bus barns, and I can tell you that there's not a finer group and not a finer facility that I have worked in or worked with in 31 years, and I really appreciate everything that they've done, welcoming me and helping me in my job. And so it has been great. And 52 buses to be inspected and 48 minors is all that we had. Most of those were signage issues, except for one that I got blamed for. But we won't go into that, Larry. Okay? We won't go into that one. But I can tell you that our buses are in great condition. The money that the district spends to purchase school buses is money that is well spent. And these gentlemen are taking care of that responsibility and that purchase to the utmost. And I want you all to know that all of the buses are in good hands, and we have 4 great gentlemen here that do a great job.
Absolutely.
Any questions about the inspection report? I know it was lengthy, and
We'll just ask Larry if we have any questions.
please, I appreciate you beating me to the punch there on that. So that's Larry didn't know, that's why he's here tonight.
Okay, let me just say one thing. I look around this room, or up and down this board here, with the exception maybe with Mr. Burris yet, but almost every one of us, our children have been on those buses, whether it's Morrilton, Northwest Arkansas, Central Arkansas, midnight, coming across Highway 7. I don't have to look at this inspection to know y'all do a good job. I know the fact that all of our children have been coming and going safely for long periods of time, to know that you're doing a good job. So as a parent, I say thank you. As a board member, I say thank you, because our most valuable commodity, obviously, is the children in our district. Our most valuable commodity, our own children, are also on those buses, so thank you.
Great job, guys. Thank you very much.
I'd
for
like
all
to
you
say
do.
thank you all for standing behind us and letting us do our job. And being able to do it. That makes a big difference. So thank you all.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions for any of them or myself?
Sir,
Keep on keeping on.
trucking down the road.
Okay, we'll move on to item 7B, here's the district review.
Yes, annually, each year I try to give a little review about our school district, so if you'll bear with me, I'll go over a few things about the district. Thank you, Adam. So we have 4 quadrants we want to talk about tonight. Student academics is the number one thing, the number one reason why we're here. Then our employees, our staffing, our community and our parents, and then resources and facilities. So if I can, I'm just going to go through each one of those quadrants and talk about some of the great things that's happening in our district. And if you have a question, don't hesitate to interrupt on any of those quadrants. So first off, we want to talk about the learning component. This is, again, the biggest piece of why we're here. We're here for one reason, that's for students to learn and be prepared for life, and that's what we're here for. And one of the big pieces of that is our curriculum. So when we look at our curriculum, when we start from our earliest student, which is 3 years old, and work our way up to 19-year-old student, that's what we want to talk about. And in preschool, we've had big changes. Jeannie Cowling, I'm going to ask her to be here a little bit later on, and Jeff's going to speak to that too. We're going to talk about the changes in preschool, but it's been really large this year. Because what's happening with the LEARNS Act and with Mr. Oliva and Sarah Huckabee Sanders as our governor, they have changed the way we do preschool. It has become from an environmental, let's have a really nice facility, it's clean, it's safe, we provide good food, we've got Crayolas, we've got those kind of things. From an environmental thing to what kind of learning is going on in preschool. It's become an interaction type preschool. And if you'll notice on the slide, we have preschool used to be graded by Eckers, and now it's going to be graded by class. And class means class assessment scoring system for 3-year-olds. So it has completely revolutionized some of the ways that daycares and preschools are looking at 3 and 4-year-olds across the state. And that's in progress right now. Kindergarten through 4th grade, we got good curriculum, it's solid, it's in place, our teachers are using it, everything's in a great order in K4 right at this point. Grades 5 through 12, same thing again, curriculum's in great shape. The only caveat to that is the science. There's been, nationally, there's been a little bit of waffling on what science standards we need to adopt. So there's not really a good consistency in science, and our state's working on that, and it hasn't been fully adopted just yet, but we're heading that direction. So hopefully we'll have a set of standards for science, and they'll be incorporated into our curriculum. The other thing about curriculum is teaching on the fly. Here's a really important point. So stir pride, I'm going to make fun of myself because it's easy to degrade yourself, how poor of a teacher I was in the 80s and early 90s if I only knew what I know now, and I wish that I was able to work with the people, around people like we have in our district. So formative assessments is a way that a teacher can make adjustments on the fly. So if you think about working on something, you wait till you completely finish the project and then you find out you made an error and you have to go all the way back and tear it all back down and start all over again. Formative assessments allows us in the middle of the lesson to say, students don't know the skill or the standard, and now I can make an adjustment into that teaching practice so that they will know it. In the past, I've been stir pride in biology. I would teach a whole biology unit. We'd have some worksheets, some labs along the way, and at the end we took a great big test. And if you did well on the test, great. And if you didn't do well on the test, I'm moving on to the next unit. It's too late to go back and do instruction. We may find out with that summative test that 60% of the kids got it and 40% didn't because of my poor instruction. Formative assessments stop that. If we'll use them appropriately, we can be in the middle of that unit. We can find out, oh, hey, whatever I'm doing isn't working. 40% of the students aren't getting it. I need to go back and change my instruction, or maybe put in an RTI practice or an intervention practice and make it where they can learn. So formative assessments are in progress. Mrs. Wilson and all the building principals are working on that right now. We use that in our PLC time. We do it in our conversations with our teachers Where are you integrating formative assessments? Is it driving your instruction? Is it changing your instruction as you go along? Or are we still in a mode of taking large assessments and it's too late and it's hard to remediate after that? So we're not there yet, but we're doing really well. We're heading that direction. Debbie, jump in if I miss something.
Okay.
So she's over there listening, acting like, don't mess this up. All right, so the next thing is we have a curriculum. What are we going to teach? You know, we're talking about formative assessments as to evaluating how well we're doing while we're teaching it. Now we're looking at assessments and our accountability to the state. When we're done and we think our students have mastered it, how are they going to respond, and are they going to be able to improve their strength and understanding, and then the state's going to get that data to us. And so, again, I'm going to start at the very bottom at the 3 and 4-year-olds and work our way up. The preschool, again, has been under enormous change. They got a new assessment tool called Lena. If you look at the little girl in the picture, she's wearing a purple vest, and if you look in the background, I know the picture's not real clear, but if you look in the background, every student is wearing a purple vest. And in the vest, you'll see a little pocket right here in her chest. There's a recording tool that fits in that pocket. And that tool can differentiate whether she's having a conversation with another person or just talking to herself. And it measures the amount of words they use per day. And it goes into a database. Those units are pulled out, they're plugged in. It goes into a database, and you can look at the amount of vocabulary and language usage of a 3 and a 4-year-old as they go through the year. We know that there's there's research that ties the amount of language usage goes right into that learning, reading, and literacy skills. So we're trying to get that environment in preschool there's a lot of interaction between student to student, but mostly teacher to student, to get that student to talk and communicate and use those words and get their literacy skills up. And one of the things that in the LENA program, if you look at it, it's building brains through early talk. And that's a big focus right now. That's a completely different change than what preschool used to be for our district. It's interaction-based learning. K2, used to kindergarten through 2nd grade, there wasn't a statewide assessment. We got to purchase our own. We chose STAR and DIBBLES. We use those two tools to be able to evaluate how much students are growing or not growing based on our instruction. The state says you can still do that. You can pay for it if you want. However, we're going to provide a tool for you, and that tool will be able to look at the data, and all the students, K2 in the state, is going to be using those tools. And now we're going to be in the comparison mode. So if you'll think back, grades 3 through 10 used to be ACT Aspire, and we would compare ourselves to other schools in the state. Now it's changed to kindergarten through end of course exam. It could be 11th graders. All of that is under one big house called Atlas. Arkansas Teaching and Learning Assessment System. Excuse me. Sorry. Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
It's all in one big roof, and now the state has all the data from kindergarten all the way through, and soon they'll have preschool all the way through, and can tie all that together and say, we know what's working, what's not working, and we have that data for us. So what we chose to do, we had DIBBLES assessments that our teachers were giving. I'm going to look at my elementary guys, they're going to look at me and say, and elementary assistant, sorry. We had DIBBLES, we had STAR assessments that were going on with our students, and then you add Atlas assessments in and Atlas interims in. We chose last year to say, well, that would be testing 4 different items at all we'd be doing was testing. So we chose to remove ourselves from STAR and DIBBLES. And I might be wrong, but I think the teachers are pretty glad that we weren't trying to do all of those at the same time. I think it'll be pretty, because this year's been pretty overwhelming with the new Atlas system, and because it's new, and we've got to get some nuances out of it. So right now, the assessment system is working really well. Then up with Mr. Parker at the end and Mr. Wilson, we have what we call end of course. So in 8th grade, you can take algebra. You can take high school courses in 8th grade, and all the way through Mr. Parker's building, it's called end of course. It doesn't matter what grade you're in. you're in, as in your cohort class, you've got to take an end-of-course exam. And that's Algebra 1 would be one of those end-of-course exams. So it doesn't matter about grade. It's not a 9th grade test or a 10th grade test. It's an end-of-course test that you have to complete. That's the state assessment called Atlas. Then we also have, as what we've always had for a long time, is we're in the Midwest. SAT is not so much got a foothold in the Midwest. We do give a PSAT, which is a sophomore-based test of the SAT. Usually East Coast, West Coast is SAT-based, but in the Midwest, ACT is the primary test of college preparedness and readiness. And then we also have our AP assessments that our students are taking also. Miss anything, Jay? Okay. So we have teachers that are AP trained, doing a great job. We've had some outstanding AP scores. We every year we have some incredible ACT scores. This year we have some Bradley Rook, who was in here just a few minutes ago, is one of the highest scores in the state on PSAT. Did an outstanding job last year. He took that last year, correct? He took it last year. We received the results. He'll be entered into, along with, how many do you have? 12, 13? 14 students that will be entered into national merit status. So we're really proud of our staff and what they're doing and the assessments that we have. So we know what we want to teach. We know how we want to teach it. We also know what type of assessments we're going to measure and see how well we're doing. And of course, we've talked a little bit about, I'm not going to take all the thunder away because I want Mrs. Wilson to talk about it. We're hoping to get our growth scores. We know what our performance scores are. Now we want to see what our growth scores are going to be, and that should be supposed to be here before Thanksgiving. But today's the 19th, so I don't think it's going to happen. So after Thanksgiving, we'll have those scores, and then Mrs. Wilson will talk to us in December, May, January. Any questions about the learning portion? Missed anything, Debbie?
I don't think so.
Okay. We are incredibly lucky. We have great teachers. They're working hard. We have work to do. We will always have work to do. It's a continuum. It's not there's no end line in the learning category. We have incredible staff. They're working hard. We have a lot of work to do. We just keep plugging along, and every year we see gains. I do want to say, and I'm going to take my time here. If you remember, I came in 2017, and we were performing well within our system. We are still performing well, and we have a different system that I believe will make us stronger in the future. It's about systems, getting systems in place that keeps our learning at a high level at Harrison Schools, and I'm really proud of what we're getting done. Okay, so on instruction, let's talk about that a little bit. RTI and interventions, it's in progress. We're trying to get there. We have some pockets that are doing really well, and we have some pockets that we need to work with. Our principals are working hard to help teachers understand what it means to bring a student in and intervene when they're not learning it. How do we find time during the day to intervene with the student before they go home? And we're still working on that. We've got a ways to go, but we see some bright future. I think things are going to go well there with our RTI interventions in progress. Inclusive practices. Amber, jump in here in a minute if I do anything wrong, but inclusive practices, here's the thing. When it comes to teaching and learning, we want to go with research. I mean, you could ask Brad what he thinks is the right thing to do for students, but it'd be a lot better to ask Robert Marzano when he has 200,000 cases that he has research on that proves what's the right thing to do for students. And one of the things that there's a just enormous body of research that says that students that have conditions that they need support, like IEPs or 504s, the best place for them to learn is in the classroom with the classroom teacher, not to pull them out and give them to a special education teacher who's trying to manage 8 different subjects in a self-contained room. We know there will be cases where that happen, but the research is very clear that by bringing those students out of those rooms and putting them in with the classroom teacher, that's where the most learning is going to happen, and that's going to help that student the most. So we have been working some really cool things. I'm really proud of our principals. They have been working with their master schedules. They've been working with Amber's team of special education teachers, or IEP eligible, if you want to say it that way.
But they've been working with those teachers, and what we've done, we've been taking the teachers out of their self-contained rooms and bringing them into the classroom with the classroom teacher. And we have that in pockets throughout the district. Dr. Lyons, Mrs. Wilson, Ms. Likes, Susan Gilly and I, we go around and we look, examine the district. We're seeing some really good instruction occurring when both of those folks are in the classroom at the same time, working with all types of students that need support. So we're really proud of inclusive practices. What we have much to go. Okay? That's number one. That's learning. Any questions on the learning side of things that you'd like to ask? The team is here to answer any questions you have. Okay? The second quadrant is about our staff. How will we recruit, train, and retain high-quality teachers, administrators, and support staff? This has been challenging. Since COVID, the workforce has been depleted. The number of students coming out of pre-service programs is very small. Math teachers in the state of Arkansas coming out of pre-service out of Arkansas Tech or Fayetteville or Central Arkansas, those are just very few. You might have Lisa Carlin and I go to job fairs, we might see one. And you have Conway, you have Bentonville, you have schools from out of state, and they're there in the job fair all recruiting these teachers. And there's one math teacher. There might be one chemistry teacher for high school science. 1, 2, maybe 3. So it makes it really challenging. So we have to look at ways to grow people inside. This is the part where I think's really worked well. Our recruitment process has been, hey, let's try to find people in our own and get them that we see a lot of potential and have them go back to school. Maybe they were a classified person, they become a paraprofessional. They're a paraprofessional for a few years. If we ask them to go back to school, we see great progress. They go back to school, they get a teaching certificate, they become our teachers. We've seen quite a bit of success in that. So growing your own is one of our processes. In Eric's area, classified staff, PenMac's been a godsend. Whenever we have shortages in some of our, now not bus drivers, I'm going to just say that's a specialized position requiring specialized training. But we've been able to hire folks through PenMac in a temporary system, try them or have them work for us for a couple, 3 months, and then we bring them on staff. We've had great success with that. And we're looking at maybe doing that with our food service because we're seeing a lot of turnover with food service programs. Okay?
Can I add something to that, Dr. Pratt?
Sure.
So we currently have 9 paraprofessionals in the special education department who are participating in the REACH program and will graduate within the next couple of years as special education teachers. So special education is such a shortage area. We're training up. They're able to work as paraprofessionals, complete their college. The program is $90 a month. They end up with their degree and then can move into a special education classroom to teach within our district.
Yeah, I want to add to that. Susan would probably give me a tongue lashing for not saying it, but the REACH program, there's several programs in the state of Arkansas where literally you can go to school and obtain an education degree for very little money. It's not the 4-year, $35,000 worth of debt that some of us went through to get our bachelor's degree in science or high school math, or whatever it might be. So the REACH program is addressing the shortage throughout the state. $90 a month is pretty cheap to go to school.
Yes.
Okay, so now we want to talk about professional growth with our teachers. We're trying to correct a calendar where we have a very supportive calendar. We still have a philosophy that we believe that the state is asking us to go 178 days of school. I'm going to be real clear about that. There is an hours model, and the hours model, it's repeated over and over and over. In the superintendent's Zoom, the hours model is there in case we have inclement weather or severe hardships. That's the bare minimum of school that a student can go to. So 1,068 hours is the bare minimum. That's not the target. That's the bare minimum if you have a crisis. The expectation from Jacob Oliva and Stacy Smith and the folks at DESE is that we go 178 days of school. And right now we offer our teachers a 190-day contract We have professional development wedged in there. We also offer compensation sometimes for summer professional development. Debbie does a great job of that. It's hard in the summer. It's really hard to work around people's vacations and get everybody here at the same time, but we're doing that. One of the other things that's in the licensed staff that's really important is RISE. That's the reading initiatives. Started 5 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. So it requires a certification. Currently, we have a couple staff members that's not been able to pass the RISE test. There's an assessment you have to complete. If you don't have that assessment, you can't, you will not be certified. You're not allowed to teach. So they're working hard. They've taken it a couple times. It's not an easy test. It's very difficult. But it's focused on literacy skills and reading, and our teachers have to get through that. The other thing that we're doing is high-quality instructional materials, HQIM. Our staff is doing a really good job of using HQIM materials. It's not some, I found a really nice worksheet on the internet, or I borrowed one, or I created one on my own. HQIM is materials that's been researched and studied and put together by professionals that is vetted, that it will give you the outcomes that we want in our student learning. So we've really pushed on our staff to use HQIM materials in their classroom, and that's one of our look-fors in our walkthrough. And again, inclusive strategies. How can you set your room up so that we can include all types of learners inside of the classroom? We've hired the Bailey Group and Solution Tree. Some of those are on our funds, some of them are through grant funds, but the Bailey Group comes in and looks at instruction in the classroom and guides teachers and gives them help, and our principals. Solution Tree has been working with 2 buildings. We've paid for a Solution Tree coach for 2 buildings. We've hired that coach to come back and now help us with inclusive practices at the district level. And she's doing, her name's Kim Kano. She's coming in, does a great job. Dr. Lyons has been lead NIET, and we're looking at lead teachers or mentors, finding our very best teachers, turning them into mentors, so that when we do have a new teacher, then we can have our very best teachers training them on what's the best practices to be successful in the classroom. And then lastly, on the classified staff, as you know in this board, we have talked about getting professional certifications. And, we had a classified staff member that we sent to Wisconsin. I think it was Wisconsin for a week, and they came back as a certified locksmith, and now we're using those services in our classified staff to help offset some costs, and he's done a great job. And then the last one is retention, and the key to retention is culture. Culture trumps money every time. That's hard to say. Everybody thinks it's money, but research has shown that. So we have a culture, and hopefully tonight you've seen some of our culture. You know our culture. We have the right culture of people. We have the very best people in the very best district, in the very best town. Simple as that. And when we have those cultures all coming together, we're going to be able to retain some folks. Some of the things we've done is our salary. We went with a $50,000 salary. Shannon and I worked on that from the LEARNS Act. One of the things that was problematic, you'll see in a lot of schools, they have the $50,000 is at the very top of the schedule, and no matter how many years of experience, you get paid $50,000 because they can't afford it. We've worked hard looking at our budget, and we've tried to move those steps earlier so people can get raises at a quicker rate, and support them. And then we have our benefit package. We pay for a lot of licensing, renewal things that people wouldn't receive at another district. Whenever it's time to renew my license in another district, I had to pay for it. It was $70, $80, whatever the fee was. It was come from my personal pocket. It wasn't taken care of by the district. At Harrison, we take care of that for them. We do a lot of fingerprinting, those kind of expenses. We take care of that for them. And then we have a lot of income opportunities. You can choose to take on extra duties as much or as little as you like to make more money. It's up to the individual. And then health incentives, we still have dairy back, dental, vision. That's not all offered at every school district. So I'm really proud of that. Any questions about teacher retention, recruitment, and training?
I'd like to see us excuse me, work more and more with our area businesses. I know like in our healthcare system, so many of our people who are coming in, whether male or female, their spouses a lot of times are teachers. And a lot of times at the end of the day, the decision's made, I could have a good job here, I couldn't find anything for my spouse. And as we work together, I think we all get better. I look over at Ms. Rawson, and I know that when we brought her husband on our team, that was a win for us. He's been state recognized as a healthcare provider. So what a win for our district also as we brought two goblins back. We were able to bring her into the district, and now she's in the role she's in at Forest. And so more and more opportunities like that, I would like to see you work with CEOs, presidents, whatever it is, of industries when we bring someone in that we can sit down and maybe look at opportunities for families.
Absolutely, that's a great point. I did receive an email today. I think NARMC is getting ready to hire someone, and their spouse is a maintenance worker and a bus driver. So I'll be talking to Mr. White about that. But I agree 100%. That's a great point, Mr. Murphy. I appreciate it. Anything else? Okay, so let me move to group 3. This is the community. As you know, social media, schools have changed. It used to be you can do whatever you want and didn't really worry about social media. We have changed our society where we're very social media dependent. Tonight, you heard of our incident at Forest Heights. One of the things that came out very quickly, we knew that in that situation, we needed to communicate very quickly to parents, be the first to let them know and not let them find out in another path. And social media is so rapid and quick in providing some form of information. I won't say always accurate, but some form of information at a very fast rate. So it becomes really, really important for our district. On the left side of the picture, you'll see a snapshot of our Harrison Goblin app. In the background, its real name is ThrillShare. It works with our website. It's all included in a package. It has been a slow go. It's been challenging. It has not gone as well as I'd like for it with our staff. But I want to remind the board, the purpose, the why, is because if we use the app as it's supposed to be used and the way we communicate with parents, we can protect children, number one. We can protect our staff, number two, from ever being accused of anything or improprieties in any way. It's recorded in the cloud. We know every conversation that's occurring with that app. And we're really proud of our staff. They've done a good job. They've had to battle a little bit. At the first of the year it was kind of tough, but we battled our way through. We still have Facebook, probably one of our strongest media outlets. If you go to each of the buildings, they have a Facebook page. There's a lot of content there. Some of it is very supportive with our PTA and other members, and that's a great way to get media out. Our world is still connected very closely to Facebook. Meta, if you want to call it by its true name now, is still strong in the world. Billions of users. And then the other is Twitter and Instagram. Twitter's now X, but we still have some use of Twitter in our social media outlet. Local ones, the News Daily Times has done a great job. They reached out to us the other day, want more feedback, more information about our school district, and we'll try to do that. We also have digital billboards that we put up. The middle picture is Mark Green. Mark Green it's on the billboard by Walmart, the digital billboard. Mark was selected to be on Senator Bozeman's Congressional Youth Cabinet. We're really proud of Mark, and he's a Harrison High School student, and came up through our system, so we're really proud of Mark. But we try to promote the positive to crush down the negative through our social media. So communication is huge with our parents, making sure that they become informed and well-versed in what's happening in our district. The other one is just provide a great climate, and some of the ways that we do that is involve them. And on the left side, you'll see Skyline Heights. They celebrated a book, Charlotte's Web, and they brought in farm animals, which is interesting. You'll see a goat there. I'm not going to make a comment about Josh. I'm going to leave that alone. But they brought in farm animals. But the thing about it is that Dr. Pratt had to park about 4 blocks away and walk uphill both directions to get there because of the traffic. And that's what's meaningful, is being able to bring families together to come support their children in learning. PTA nights, carnivals, book nights, meet the teacher nights, senior breakfast is another one, camp convention in the summer, summer school, all those things bring our families to our schools and keep them connected with, and that has been very positive for us. And then the last one is we promised several years ago that we'd explore after-school programming, and kudos to Susan Gilly and the grant writing skills, but we have after-school program, and I would have never guessed that we'd have 300 kids a day in our after-school program. We have over 100 at middle school, we have 100 at Forest and 100 at Skyline, rocking and rolling. It varies some days, but we're averaging right at 300 students a day for free of charge, no cost to parents, being in a safe environment with some enrichment, some learning, some recreation, and of course snacks. So all those things are happening. Here you'll see the carnival. If you'll notice the one little picture, it's hard to see, it says jail. That's Mr. Wilson behind the bars. Debbie put him in there and she said, you're staying there. It's a thing where you pay to get out from jail. Debbie said no, she wouldn't let anybody pay to get him out, so he stayed there most of the time. But the point is that we had a really nice carnival, had hay rides, the whole bit. That was a well-attended function, all in the after-school program, and those ladies are doing a great job, the ladies that lead that. I'm going to say one more thing before we get to the last one. Our philosophy has been crush the negative with positive. In the last 4 months, what you've seen, there's been several incidences that's come up on a local social media platform that could be quite negative. It tends to be negative about people and school districts. And there are several cases where lately an issue has come up on this platform where it's very critical of the school district or the transportation department or Forest Heights or Skyline Heights or whatever. What we've seen anecdotally and in on the responses has been an overwhelming group of people get on there and say it's inappropriate, they're doing a great job, we support our teachers, we support our school. It's been an overwhelming upheaval. Those aren't teachers getting on there, those aren't administrators. Our administrators don't. I encourage them not to get on there and be combative with someone not being positive about the school. What we've seen is our community is saying, hey, we're not taking that. Our schools are doing a great job, and you just need to leave that alone. We've seen several of those cases in the last few months, and I'm really proud of that. That means we're earning some trust and there with our community. I think they trust us. The last one of the 4 quadrants is facilities and resources. And again, we have a master plan. Board, you're right in the middle of that. We've kind of taken a little bit of pause. Our last piece of the master plan was to set the future up with some purchases of land. We've done that. We've acquired that land. We're very proud of that. We're taking a little bit of a pause in the master plan process, looking at some timelines in the future. Here you see a sample rendering of what Skyline might be with the car rider line going behind the building and becoming out of the road. Josh isn't able to be with us tonight, but he would be very ecstatic about that, along with our Loggins who's out there. But that could be a possibility in the future. We're collaborating with DESE and the Facilities Division to make sure that we're in compliance and all the procedural steps so that we can build a building in the near future. And it's coming. I think it's coming. And then Mr. White's here. All the maintenance, we have to maintain the properties that we do have. We use a program called Operations Hero. Our staff turns in things that need to be repaired or fixed. And then each year we have an annual suggestion. Eric and district administration sits down together and we say, and our building administrators say, okay, this is what needs to be done. These are things that we need. We need new carpet. Or we've got sinks that are not functioning, and we get those taken care of and try to improve our facilities. So I'm really proud of that. The other one is resources. Debbie Wilson, Amber Likes, Susan Gilly, Dr. Lyons comes to me along with the admin team. And one of the things that Susan does, and she puts it out, she calls it like a Christmas. If it was Christmas and you could have anything you want as an administrator or as a teacher, what would you like? And our teachers flood in all the things they would like to have. And our principals turn in all the things they'd like to have. And then when we do that, and many of the things that they think we can't do, we've got those done. We were able to get those done in a lot of ways. And some of the things are a little large and we can't quite get there, but it's a way of getting feedback from them of how we can improve our district and improve things. The other one's operational resources, buses. You saw Larry, Melvin, David was here, Keith. They do a great job on our buses, but remember they're on very rough roads. They do wear out. Our buses take some heavy use. We bus about 1,500 students a day on the buses, depending on the day. And so typically that's between 2 and 4 buses need to be purchased and a lot of upkeep. Food service equipment, maintenance, custodial equipment. Renee Miller does a great job of taking care of that, taking for all the things that we need to do there. And the last one of the most expensive ones is SROs. I can't say what a great decision it was for this district and your leadership to go ahead and pay for the other 2 SROs. Mike Tolan is retiring. He's leaving. He's been a part of our SRO program. He's going to go move out to Nashville. December 31st is his last day. And I was a little nervous what Chief Grady might do because I didn't know if the city needed to make some cuts. So I put pressure on Luke Feiger. He's our CFO. And we were talking about that, but the city came through. Chief Grady said, absolutely not. We're going to have 4 SROs in the same way we've had SROs. And I'm really proud of our relationship with the city and the leadership they have and the leadership we have to make sure that every campus has an armed officer certified and trained in SWAT and legal means to take care of our kids and our staff. And they're on every campus. And I think once Goblin Drive gets done, we'll get Officer Grisham and Officer Mills out the road directing traffic, and we'll have them in the front doors when the bell rings, the school begins, and the kids are walking in. And I think that'll be a huge safety increase for us. Technology, Adam's here. He's running the roadie show tonight. Susan's out, but Adam, his team does a great job. I want to say one last thing about them. We talk about a lot. I try to impress upon the admin team how lucky they are. If you've ever been to a district that has tough technology and you're having a lot of online tests like we're having now with the Atlas, the interims, the Teslets, all those kind of things. ACT is going to be online this year. It's not going to be paper pencil. It's online. We don't have problems with our Wi-Fi. We don't have problems with our kids taking assessments. We have very few complications. Very few. And that's because we have a great technology department that gets it done every year. Okay, so that's the 4 quadrants. What questions do you have as a board of the update? Is there anything that I missed that you would like to ask of me or the team that's with me?
Very thorough. I don't think we'd have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Magnus. One of the things I'd like to say is we can't put all the great things down on a slide deck because you would be here till after midnight. We've listed in a long legal sheet of paper that's front and back, that we call it the placemat for our administrative team and our teachers at the end of the year, and it lists all the things that we're accomplishing. And it's pretty amazing what our teaching staff and our classified staff's getting done every year. So we can't put it all on the slide deck. There's just no way. It'd be all time. Any other questions?
Thank you for the information.
Yep. Mr. Magnus, there's no recommendation on this. This is just for your information only. Thank you for letting me have some time to share with you.
You got it. We'll move on to 7D, consider the ASB model policies of school choice.
Yep. We have Dr. Louis Valines is with us tonight, and he has ASBA model policy 4.5 and several 4.5Fs, 1 through 5 or something like that.
There are several. They're in your board packet. I'll just ask are there any questions? Make a motion with full respect.
We have a motion before the floor. Mr. Martin, is there a second?
Okay.
I'll second.
Have a second by Mr. McLaughlin.
They comply with current law.
I did have one question for Dr. Pratt, and this will be brief. I asked him what this really stems from. Is it the LEARNS Act, or is it something else that's going on? And your response was?
It is.
It is. Being driven primarily by the LEARNS Act.
LEARNS Act, yes. One
of the primary pieces of Sarah Huckabee Sanders and her political campaign was to allow parents more freedom and more choice in schools.
Yeah. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion carries. We'll move on to item 7E, consider petitions for transfer of students.
Yes, the following petitions are in your board packet for transfer of students as presented. Administration recommends the approval of the following outgoing transfers and endorsed incoming transfers.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin. Is there a second? By Ms. Bowe. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Transfers are approved. At this time, I'd like to ask us to go into recess, so we might have a student hearing. We'll come out with recess later for executive session.